Good day, class, and welcome to Legal Aspects in Tourism and Hospitality. So, this is a discussion format para maliban dun sa discussion natin sa Google Meet, meron din kayong copy sa topic natin. So, this is the introductory part for this subject, Legal Aspects in Tourism and Hospitality. So, the first question is, why is there a need to study tourism laws? Mahalaga po bang pag-aralan natin ang tourism laws? The answer would be yes. And in this presentation, we have four reasons here. Bakit nga ba kailangan natin pag-aralan ang tourism laws? First, it protects the rights of travelers and tourism workers. So meron tayong provisions sa law. May mga batas tayo na kung saan pinoprotektahan ang karapatan ng mga travelers. Bakit anong meron sa travelers? Because travelers are the heart of tourism industry. So yung mga turista, meron silang karapatan. And also, the tourism workers. Meron din silang dapat benepisyo na makuha habang nagtatrabaho sa nasabing profession. Second, to preserve tourism resources where future generations can enjoy. Actually, this is part of human rights. Kaninong rights ang pinag-uusapan? The future generations. Kasi kung hindi natin ipe-preserve yung mga tourism resources na yan, baka mawala. Like Boracay. Kung hindi na paganda yung Boracay at hindi na preserve, baka after 10 years, 15 years, wala na, sira na yung Boracay. Ngayon, once na preserve yan, magagamit pa yan ng susunod na generations. Okay, third, to provide better tourism services. So meron tayong mga batas na kung saan ay nagbibigay ng standards kung ano nga ba ang dapat na maibigay na tourism services sa mga client. At isang mahalagang bagay yan para sa tourism industry. Lastly, to promote growth of the tourism industry. Ano nga ba yung naitutulong ng tourism industry sa pag-unlad ng isang bansa? Tulad sa Pilipinas, kung mapapaganda natin ang Pilipinas at may hikayat natin yung mga foreigner na pumasok sa bansang to, mas maraming opportunity, mabibigyan ng mga trabaho ang mga locals, and at the same time, yung mga turista na to, dala-dala nila yung pera, and dito nila magagamit yung pera na to at makakadagdag sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. So, meron tayong mga batas na nakaakibat dyan. Okay, so since this subject is all about legal aspects, we should define first what is law is all about. So we have two definitions here, the general and specific sense. So in the general sense, law is the science of moral laws founded on the rational nature of man that governs his free activity for the realization of the individual and social ends of life under an aspect of mutual conditional dependence. Actually, sa law school, mostly ng mga law students, they prefer to memorize this second definition in its specific and concrete sense. Law is defined as a rule of conduct, just and obligatory, promulgated by legitimate authority and of common observance and benefit. So, we have general divisions of law here. Meron tayong tinitignan na dalawang classification ng batas. First is enforced by the state. So it was promulgated and enforced by the state. And the second one is not promulgated or enforced by state. Hindi pinatupad ng isang estado. So ngayon puntahan muna natin yung mga batas na hindi pinatupad ng estado. So ano ang mga yon? First is the divine law. Divine law is the law of religion and faith, which concerns itself with the concept of sin and salvation. So, from the word itself, divine. Okay, papasok na dyan yung religion. Ito yung mga batas na kuha natin sa religion. Sa madaling salita, batas ng Diyos. For example, in Christian perspective, Catholic point of view, we have the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. Yan ang mga sinusunod natin at yan ay batas ng Diyos. So, ulitin ko, ang batas na ito ay hindi gawa ng Estado. Hindi ito pinatupad ng state. Second is natural law, defined as the divine inspiration in man of the sense of justice, fairness, and righteousness, not by divine revelation or formal promulgation. So, the word na natural law, natural, ito yung batas na kung saan nagkakaroon ka ng right dun pa lang sa mismong pagkapanganak mo. For example is the right of the citizens to life. Yes, natural yan. Na kapag ang isang tao ay pinanganak, karapatan niyang mabuhay. That is a concept of natural law. The right of the citizens to life. Third is moral law. It is the totality of the norms of good and right conduct growing out of the collective sense of right and wrong of every community. Okay, so para maintindihan yung batas na to, magbibigay ako ng example. So always tell the truth. Kahit saan ka pumunta sa panig ng mundo, katanggap-tanggap sa nakararami ang konsepto ng always tell the truth. At kaya ito tinawag na moral law. Sinusunod mo ito dahil ito ang katanggap-tanggap, ito ang norms sa society. Next, physical law. In the operation or course of nature, there are uniformities of actions and orders of sequence which are the physical phenomena that we sense and feel. So physical from the word itself, ito ang na-sense natin sa physical phenomena. For example, the Newton's law of universal gravitation, the concept of gravitational pull. Alam natin na lahat ng nasa taas bumababa. What goes up must come down. Yan yung law na tinatawag natin na physical law. Punta naman tayo dun sa binabanggit natin na the state law. The law promulgated by the state and enforced by the state. So what is state law? A kind of law, however, which particularly concerns us in this work is the state law, or the law that is promulgated and enforced by the state. This law is also called positive law, municipal law, civil law, or imperative law. So yung mga iba't ibang tawag na yan, it varies on different perspective that you're using. So we have different kinds of law. First, substantive law, a law which creates, defines, and regulates rights. It is the set of laws that govern how members of society are to behave. So that is substantive law. Second is the adjective law. Take note, the term adjective, a law which provides the method of aiding and protecting certain rights. It deals with procedure to be adopted in order to enforce a right or duty and is accessory to substantive law. So, accessory siya ng substantive law. Okay, public law. Actually, public law is very broad in nature, ano? Area of constitutional, administrative, criminal, and international law that focuses on the organization of government. So, the relations between the state and its citizens, the responsibilities of government officials, and the relations between sister states. Malawak ang public law. Okay, so criminal law generally defines the rights and obligations of individuals in society. Some common issues in criminal law are the elements of specific crimes and elements. So, bago kasi makita natin ang isang act na isang crime, dapat papasa muna dito yung elements na binabanggit. But, hindi ko na naisama dito sa presentation, mostly, ang minimemorize talaga ng mga law students sa definition ng criminal law is the definition coming from the book of Reyes, which states that criminal law is that branch or division of law which defines crimes, treats of their natures, and provide for their punishment. Okay, international law. A system of treaties and agreements between nations that governs how nations interact with other nations, citizens of other nations, and business of other nations. So international law, pag sinabi international law, ito yung mga batas, mga sistema na kung saan sinusunod ang bawat bansa when it comes to agreements, okay? Political law, branch of public law which deals with the organization and operations of the governmental organs of the state and defines the relations of the state with the inhabitants of its territory. So actually, ito yung branch, political law is a branch of public law. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang public law ay malawak na area. So, under na dyan, sub-branch na dyan yung political law which deals with the organization and operations of governmental organs. Number 7, civil law systems, also called continental or Romano-Germanic legal systems. They are found in all continents and cover about 60% of the world. So, isa sa pinakamalawak na sistema na nakuha ng iba't ibang bansa. So, they are based on concept, categories, and rules derived from Roman law. So, sa Pilipinas, nakuha natin to during Spanish period, okay? With some influence of canon law. So, pag sinabing canon law, ano nga bang meron dito? So, involved na dyan yung Roman Catholic Church, yung pinamumunuan ng Santo Papa. Sometimes largely supplemented or modified by local custom or culture. Number 8, private law. A part of civil law, legal system which is part of the jus commune or common law. Yan yung ibig sabihin yan. That involves relationships between individuals, such as the law of contracts and torts, as it is called the common law, and the law of obligations, as it's called civil legal system. Okay, kaya tinawag siya na private law. Hindi naman sa private company lang ito. Private law, it talks about common law and individuals. Okay, number 9, maritime law. So dito pa lang, sa word pa lang na maritime law, meron na kayong mapansin. Also known as admiralty law, is a body of laws, conventions, and treaties that governs private maritime business and other nautical matters. Take note, nautical matters. Kasi class, iba kasi ang batas dito sa kalupaan dun sa high seas. Okay? So such as shipping or offenses occurring on open water. International rules governing the use of the oceans and seas are known as the law of the sea. Magkaibang batas sa tubig kasi minsan ito na yung pinag-aagawan na borders. And lastly, mercantile law. So siguro yung iba dyan hindi pamilyar sa term na mercantile. Okay? So in layman's term, it's like commercial, business. Yun yung mercantile law. An assemblage of customs and practices governing a broad range of business practices at the local, country, and international levels. In general, mercantile law sets forth the rights, responsibilities, and liabilities of the parties involved in business events. So those are the different kinds of law. So now let's move to sources of law. Saan nga ba galing yung mga batas na to? Saan yung pinagmulan? Saan kinukuha yung mga batas na pag-aaralan natin? Okay, first is the Philippine Constitution, ang saligang batas, which is the highest law of the land. It is the fundamental law of the land to which all other laws must conform. So, ganito lang kasimple yan. Yung mga nagagawang batas, kung titignan nyo, may mga nababalitang ipinasa na ang batas sa Kamara. So, yung mga batas na nagagawa na yan, it should conform. Dapat kaisa niya yung Philippine Constitution at hindi niya na-violate. Kasi once na na-violate niya yung Constitution, meron tayong term na tinatawag na unconstitutional. So, dapat lahat ng batas na gagawin, yun ay nakasang-ayon sa saligang batas ng Pilipinas. Second is statutes or legislative enactments. So, in layman's term, ito yung mga batas na gawa sa legislative. Congress, binubuo kasi yan sa bicameral committee, the Congress and the Senate. It is the written will of the legislative department rendered authentic by certain prescribed forms and solemnities, prescribing rules of action or civil conduct with respect to persons, things, or both. Okay, third is administrative or executive orders, regulations, and rulings. So ito naman, pag sinabi nating administrative or executive, kasama na dyan yung President, President of the Philippines, and yung mga delegado niya. These are issued by administrative officials under legislative authority. Okay, number 4, judicial decisions or jurisprudence. These refer to the decisions of the Supreme Court in interpreting the laws or the Constitution. So, yung mga cases na ini-interpret nila, nagiging part yun sa judicial decisions and nagiging part ng sources of law. So, that's it. Number 5, custom. So, actually, this is informal, ano? It is a rule of conduct which in a given place and among given groups of people has been followed for an appreciable time. So, halimbawa, may isang tribe at meron silang sinusunod na customs or traditions o ano man yan na pinapasa-pasa from generation to generation, though walang nakalagay na batas, walang nakalagay nakasulat sa batas, pero sinusunod nila, still, makukuha pa rin natin yon as sources of law. And the last one is, etc. na lang ito, other sources. These refer to decisions of foreign tribunals and opinions of textbook writers. So, minsan, ina-acknowledge din natin yung mga decisions of foreign tribunals. Okay, so since ang topic natin is legal aspects in tourism and hospitality, let's define also the concept of tourism law. Okay, unahin mo natin yung term na tourism. Tourism is defined as the custom or practice of traveling for pleasure. So, yun yung definition niya, the heart of tourism, traveling for pleasure, as well as the promotion by establishment of countries to attract tourists. Pero sa lahat ng definition na nakuha ko, mas maganda yung definition na binigay ng World Tourism Organization. According to them, tourism is defined as the activities of persons traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment. Take note, traveling and staying outside their usual. So kung ikaw, lumipat ka lang sa kapitbahay nyo, hindi mo masabing tourism yon, hindi mo masabing turista ka, lumipat ka lang ng bahay. Dapat, lilipat ka sa isang lugar na hindi mo usually pinupuntahan. And for continuation, not more than one consecutive year. So, kung ikaw, pumunta ka sa isang lugar as a tourist, and nagstay ka doon, bumalik ka rin sa lugar mo, tourism ang tawag doon. Pero kung nag-stay ka doon, umabot ka na ng 2 years, well, hindi na siguro turista ang tawag sa'yo, kundi residente na nung nasabing lugar, kung anong lugar yung pinuntahan mo of tourism. Now, let's define what tourism law is all about. So, tourism law may be defined as a body of rules or principles of action which deals with the regulation, authority, relations, and obedience among members of a society involved in tourist travel and accommodation. It includes persons traveling from one place to place for pleasure and business establishments or persons engaged in the occupation of providing various services for tourists. So, yun naman pala yung gusto ng tourism law. Pinoprotektahan yung mga nagta-travel and pinoprotektahan yung mga workers. Pati na rin yung place na part ng tourism industry. Okay? Importance and application of tourism law. Ano nga bang halaga ng application ng tourism law? Ano nga bang maitutulot ng pag-apply ng tourism law sa society natin? Yung pinaka-core idea dyan is happiness, amusement, and entertainment of people traveling from one place to place. All things being considered, it will not be denied that there are now various or even millions of commercial transactions involved in tourism. In addition, numerous regulations are being imposed by the different government agencies in order to promote tourism development for national interest. Hence, there is a need to study the different principles and statutes governing tourism development. So, ang kagandahan sa pag-aaral ng tourism law, you as a student, makakatulong to pagka-graduate mo, makuha mo yung diploma, kung mag-apply ka man ng work or gagawa ka ng sarili mong business, makakatulong ang mga provisions na to, ang mga batas na to para maging kapaki-panginabang ka sa society. And that's it. And that is the introductory part of legal aspects in tourism and hospitality. Thank you.